watching the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the tension mounting as the race nears its end. The crowd holds its breath, and then, out of nowhere, the Porsche 919 Hybrid crosses the finish line, securing victory. But wait, our true hero isn't this car. It's a surprise, one so powerful it makes even Formula One look slow, demonstrating its sheer dominance and speed. Let's find out. After the 2017 season, Porsche decided to retire from international endurance racing, like the famous 24 Hours of Le Mans. Their 919 Hybrid had already conquered everything, winning multiple championships and races. But Porsche wasn't done with the 919 just yet. No, they had one more special plan for it. On April 11, 2018, Porsche unveiled a monster version of the 919 Hybrid, called the 919 Evo. This was not a race car bound by the usual rules. It didn't have to worry about endurance, reliability, or fuel limits. It was pure performance unleashed. So, what did Porsche change to turn the 919 into this ultimate speed machine? Let's break down what made this monster so special. First, the 919 Evo's body was built around a super strong monocoque structure. It used lightweight carbon fiber with a honeycomb aluminum core for extra strength. And yes, the cockpit was fully closed, just like in modern fighter jets. Under the hood, it had a crazy 2-liter V4 engine, turbocharged with a 90-degree cylinder angle. It had 4 valves per cylinder, dual overhead cams, and a Garrett turbocharger bolted on. Thanks to direct fuel injection and dry sump lubrication, it stayed powerful and reliable even at insane speeds. How insane? The engine could spin up to about 9,000 revolutions per minute. All this madness was managed by a Bosch MS5 engine system. The gas engine alone could crank out around 710 horsepower, mostly sent to the rear wheels. But the 919 Evo was also a hybrid. It had an electric motor called an MGU on the front axle that added another 434 horsepower. When everything kicked in, you got temporary all-wheel drive, meaning this beast could absolutely launch out of corners. Think that's impressive? Hit like and subscribe. If you don't, you might just be missing out on the real power of these machines. Go ahead, prove me wrong in the comments. Its hybrid system was no joke either. It used KERS called Kinetic Energy Recovery System to grab energy under braking, and ERS, and the full form is energy recovery from exhaust gases to capture wasted heat. That energy got stored in a liquid-cooled lithium-ion battery, with battery cells from A123 systems. Power went to the ground through a hydraulically operated 7-speed sequential racing gearbox. The car also had independent suspension at the front and rear, pushrod designs with adjustable dampers, and a cool pitch link system to help control the car's body movement. A fun fact is that the standard 919 Hybrid that raced in the WEC didn't even have this. So what about the brakes of this monster? A full 4-wheel brake-by-wire system with massive ventilated carbon fiber discs. Porsche also added clever controls to vary the wheel torque, helping the car stay balanced no matter the speed. For wheels, it rolled on lightweight forged magnesium rims from BBS, wrapped in fat Michelin racing tires about 12.2 inches wide up front and 28 inches tall. The 919 Evo weighed just about 1,871 pounds dry, or 1,958 pounds with the driver. It measured roughly 199.8 inches long, 74.8 inches wide, and stood just 41.3 inches tall. It even had a compact fuel tank that held about 16.5 gallons. So what they did next is that they boosted the energy recovery system, the part that captures energy when braking and turns it into electric power. Originally, the 919 Hybrid could only use 6.37 megajoules of electric energy per lap at Spa-Francorchamps. But for the Evo, Porsche raised that to 8.49 megajoules. This meant the electric motors, which power the front wheels, could now deliver even more punch, from 400 PS up to 440 PS, which is about 434 horsepower. So, the car didn't just get a bigger engine boost, it got a stronger electric side too. To make things even crazier, Porsche stripped out anything that wasn't needed for short blasts around a racetrack. They removed the air conditioning, windscreen wipers, headlights, and other electrical gadgets. That helped shed about 86 pounds. The Evo's dry weight, meaning without fluids or the driver, came down to just 1,871 pounds. That's super light for a hybrid machine with both a petrol engine and electric motors. And that wasn't all. The aerodynamics of the Evo also got a full makeover. Porsche added a bigger rear wing, a wider front diffuser, fixed height side skirts, and even a drag reduction system, just like Formula One cars have. Thanks to all these upgrades, the Evo generated 53% more downforce, which means it stuck to the track even harder, and its aerodynamic efficiency improved by a huge 66% compared to the 2017 race-spec version at Spa. If you're wondering how all this looked on the track, get ready. It was insane. Porsche took the 919 Evo to the famous Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. They put experienced driver Neil Yanni behind the wheel, and what he did shocked the world. Johnny blasted around the 4.3-mile track in just 1 minute and 41.77 seconds. Let that sink in. And also, he beat the fastest Formula One lap time there. To give you an idea, the regular 919 hybrid had set pole position at Spa in 2017 with a lap of 1 minute and 54.097 seconds. Johnny was more than 12 seconds faster than that, which in racing terms is a lifetime. During that record-breaking lap, Johnny reached a top speed of 223 miles per hour on the Long Kemmel Straight. And his average speed around the entire lap? An unbelievable 152.6 miles per hour. That's like driving at top highway speed, but through tight corners and high-speed bends, without lifting off. It wasn't just a one-off stunt either. Porsche didn't put the 919 Evo back in the garage after Spa. Instead, they took it on a world tour called the 919 Tribute Tour throughout 2018. The Evo amazed crowds at some of the biggest car festivals and racetracks in the world. They showed off the 919 Evo at the legendary Nürburgring Nordschleife during the 24 hours of Nürburgring weekend. They sent it roaring up the famous hill at the Goodwood Festival of Speed in England. They thrilled fans at the Festival of Porsche at Brands Hatch. They even shipped it across the Atlantic for a special appearance at Porsche Rennsport Reunion the 6th at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in California. But the biggest surprise came on June 29, 2018. That day, Porsche brought the 919 Evo back to the fearsome Nürburgring Nordschleife, one of the longest, toughest, and most dangerous tracks in the world, and handed the wheel to Timo Bernhard, a man who knew both endurance racing and the green hell like the back of his hand. What happened next entered the history books. Bernhard smashed the Nürburgring's outright lap record. He completed a lap of the 12.9-mile track in just 5 minutes and 19.546 seconds. To understand how crazy that is, you need to know about the previous record. It was set 35 years earlier by legendary driver Stefan Belov in a Porsche 956 with a time of 6 minutes and 11.13 seconds. Bernhard didn't just break Belov's record, he crushed it by nearly 52 seconds. The Nordschleife is often called the Green Hell because of how tough it is, with over 150 corners, huge elevation changes, and almost no room for error. To average over 233 around 145 miles per hour on a track like that is simply unbelievable. The 919 Evo wasn't just about straight-line speed. Thanks to its advanced aerodynamics and hybrid tech, it could handle corners like a dream while still pushing out massive power. Bernhard's lap showed that the car wasn't just fast on smooth circuits like Spa. It could destroy records on one of the most difficult racetracks in the world. In short, the Porsche 919 Hybrid Evo was a masterpiece, a car born when Porsche engineers finally asked themselves, what happens if we build a car without any racing rules holding us back? The answer? History. Every legendary machine has a story behind its power. So what's the incredible history that made the Porsche 919 Hybrid Evo such a masterpiece? Let's find it through its history. First, let's talk about Porsche's racing legacy and dominance at Le Mans. Porsche's racing story isn't just long, it's legendary. Over the decades, they've built a reputation as the true kings of Le Mans, racking up an unmatched 19 overall wins and 108 class victories. But these numbers didn't happen by accident. They're the result of Porsche's relentless pursuit of engineering perfection and smart racing strategy. Ever since their first appearance at the famous Circuit de la Sarthe back in 1951, Porsche has made it a mission to push the limits of endurance racing. Remember the wild 917 Pink Pig, or the unstoppable 956 and 962 that ruled the 1980s. Each car wasn't just fast, it was a clever response to the racing rules of the time, showcasing Porsche's genius at squeezing out every advantage. Unlike rivals like Audi, Ferrari, and Jaguar, Porsche mastered the art of reading the rulebook like a treasure map, finding every opportunity to innovate. Every race car they built was more than just a machine, and it was a rolling statement of Porsche's philosophy: constant evolution and technical brilliance. And it was this half-century of learning, winning, and improving that laid the perfect groundwork for their boldest creation yet, the 919 Hybrid. Yes, the elder brother of the Evo. Little did the world know, Porsche was about to build a car that could make even Formula One machines seem slow. Now let's discuss the birth of the legendary Porsche 919 Hybrid. This car made its racing debut at the 2014 6 Hours of Silverstone, where it earned a solid third place behind Toyota's TS040 hybrids. But the road to success wasn't as smooth as Porsche had hoped. After a long absence from top-tier endurance racing, the 919 faced a steep learning curve. At Le Mans, Porsche's flagship car finished a disappointing 11th place, lagging a full 31 laps behind the victorious Audi R18 e-tron Quattro. Even though the 919 showed impressive speed, securing pole positions throughout the season, turning that speed into race victories proved difficult. But then came the turning point. At Interlagos, Porsche finally clinched a hard-earned win thanks to the impressive driving trio of Dumas, Johnny, and Lieb. Together with strong performances from the sister car driven by Bernhard, Hartley, and F1 legend Mark Webber, Porsche ended the season third in the overall standings, laying the groundwork for what would come next. In 2015, Porsche unleashed a fully reworked 919 Hybrid. With a new chassis, lighter weight, and a more aggressive front end, the car came to life in a way that fans had been waiting for. The results were nothing short of spectacular. 6 straight race wins. Webber, Bernhard, and Hartley claimed 4 of them. And at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, Bamber, Tandy, and Hulkenberg delivered a historic victory, ending a 17-year drought at Circuit de la Sarthe. By the end of the season, Porsche had swept both the Drivers' and Manufacturers' Championships, marking the start of a new dominant era in endurance racing. Curious about the hybrid system in this car? You might think it's similar to the Evo we discussed earlier. Let's dive in and see if that's the case. The 919 Hybrid's hybrid system was a very important factor in the World Endurance Championship, setting it apart from every other competitor. While most cars could only recover energy during braking, Porsche's 919 could harvest energy during both braking and acceleration. Now that's pretty impressive, right? About 60% of the recovered energy came from the kinetic energy recovery system, as we discussed earlier in the video, which collected power as the car decelerated. But Porsche didn't stop there. The remaining 40% came from an innovative exhaust energy recovery system that captured wasted heat energy from the engine. This clever two-in-one approach made the 919 Hybrid exceptionally efficient, especially important in endurance racing, where fuel economy can make or break a race. Under the hood, the 919 Hybrid featured a compact 2-liter V4 engine, packing around 500 horsepower in its race-ready form. But here's where it gets even cooler. The car had an electric motor on the front axle, generating around 400 horsepower. When the electric motor kicked in, the 919 effectively became an all-wheel drive car, giving it a major boost in handling and grip. The Evo received so many updates to its hybrid system, but when you take a closer look, it feels almost the same. Interesting, right? Let's dig into why that might be. What made it truly stand out was Porsche's smart energy management system. Drivers could deploy that extra electric power whenever they needed it most, whether to make a daring pass, defend their position, or just conserve fuel in the right sections of the track. With its intelligent power distribution and impressive aerodynamics, the 919 Hybrid was as adaptable as it was powerful. This car wasn't just fast, it was a perfect blend of power, efficiency, and strategy that proved Porsche's dominance in hybrid racing. Next comes the story of victory, continued development, and Le Mans hat-trick. The 2016 season came with new challenges, as WEC regulations limited fuel flow for all prototypes. Porsche wasn't fazed though. They completely revamped the engine, creating a lighter unit that still pumped out 480 horsepower while boosting performance with an upgraded electric motor system. Despite these problems, the 919 Hybrid kept up its incredible pace from the previous year. And the results? Well, they spoke for themselves. Porsche took home another Le Mans win when Dumas, Yanni, and Lieb overtook a struggling Toyota in the final laps, securing both the driver and manufacturer titles once again. Then came 2017. While the monocoque stayed largely the same, the rest of the car was essentially rebuilt. Around 70% of the 919 Hybrid was redesigned, with major focus on aerodynamics, chassis dynamics, and the powertrain. So now you ask, what's about the result? The most efficient race car in Porsche's history, with energy recovery efficiency hitting new heights. The car could now harvest 60% of energy from braking and 40% from exhaust gases. But the most dramatic moment came during the 2017 Le Mans 24 Hours. The lead Porsche number 1 suffered oil pressure issues and retired early, and the second car spent nearly an hour in the garage for a replacement. It seemed like victory was slipping away. However, in an unbelievable twist, all three Toyota TS050 LMP1 cars faced problems. The remaining Porsche, starting from 56th place, surged back, with Bamber, Hartley, and Bernhard gaining 10 to 15 seconds per lap to snatch the victory in the final moments. This remarkable comeback completed Porsche's three-peat at Le Mans and secured another WEC title, cementing their dominance in the sport. In 2017, the motorsport world was stunned when Porsche revealed it was exiting the World Endurance Championship. After 4 years of rewriting the rulebook, shattering speed and endurance records, and dominating prototype racing, Porsche was ready for a new challenge. But rather than walking away from motorsport, this was simply a shift in focus. The next target? Formula E. With their eyes set on the future, Porsche was preparing to dive into the world of fully electric racing, embracing innovation and sustainability in a rapidly evolving motorsport landscape. At first, this might seem like a surprising move, but in hindsight, it made perfect sense. Porsche had already begun developing the Mission E project, their ambitious, fully electric sports car that would eventually become the Taycan. With a platform like Formula E, Porsche could push sustainability, environmental responsibility, and efficiency to the forefront of motorsport, aligning perfectly with the growing trend of electrification in the automotive world. This decision was all about staying ahead of the curve and embracing the future of technology. But before saying goodbye to the 919 Hybrid, Porsche had one last brilliant plan. They wanted to show the world just how powerful and groundbreaking their championship-winning car could be when freed from the limits of racing regulations. No rules, no boundaries, just pure Porsche engineering at its finest. It was the perfect farewell, a bold statement that proved the 919 Hybrid still had plenty more to offer. That was our Evo. Now that we've explored the incredible 919 Hybrid and its even more powerful Evo version, there's one big question left on everyone's mind. How did the Evo outpace Formula One? What about the legacy and future impact of the Porsche cars? The Porsche 919 Hybrid Evo's mind-blowing performance at Spa was a game-changer in every sense. When it set a blistering lap time of 1 minute, 41.770 seconds, it wasn't just about breaking a track record, it was about rewriting the history books. Porsche managed to do something that no one expected. They outpaced a modern Formula One car, the Mercedes W11, driven by none other than Lewis Hamilton. Now, this wasn't just any Formula One car. The Mercedes W11 was one of the most dominant machines to ever hit the track, and Hamilton was at the peak of his career. So, for a modified endurance racer like the 919 Hybrid Evo to not only compete but beat it was almost unfathomable. What makes this feat even more impressive is the context. Porsche hadn't competed in Formula One since 1964, so here they were in 2018, delivering a car that could rival the world's fastest open-wheel racing technology. And the best part? The 919 Hybrid Evo probably wasn't even operating at its absolute limit when it set that record. Engineers speculated that under perfect track conditions, with cooler temperatures and more ideal circumstances, the 919 Evo could have shaved several more seconds off its time. This moment highlighted not just the raw speed of the 919 Hybrid Evo, but the incredible potential that exists when a car is freed from the shackles of regulatory constraints. It was a bold statement that even Formula One, with all its precision and cutting-edge technology, had its limits. Now let's take a look at some of the best Porsche racing cars in the world. The Porsche 918, Spider, 911, Taycan, and 919 Hybrid. Evo each represent the pinnacle of Porsche engineering, but they serve different purposes and showcase distinct characteristics. When comparing them to the 919 Hybrid Evo, we see how each vehicle fits into Porsche's legacy of performance, while also highlighting the radical advancements the 919 Hybrid Evo achieved in racing technology. First, the Porsche 918 Spider is a hybrid supercar that blends performance with eco-consciousness. Its 887 horsepower comes from a 4.6-liter V8 engine and 2 electric motors, allowing it to go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds. While the 918 Spider is a marvel of hybrid technology and speed, it's designed for road use, not the racetrack. While the 918 Spider pushes hybrid performance for the road, the 919 Hybrid Evo maximizes it for relentless speed and efficiency on the track, making the Evo a more extreme embodiment of Porsche's hybrid potential. The Porsche 911, on the other hand, has long been the symbol of Porsche's road car legacy, renowned for its precision, handling, and iconic rear-engine design. From the 911 Turbo to the track-ready 911 GT3 RS, it delivers thrilling performance on twisty roads or racetracks. However, despite its exceptional capabilities, the 911 isn't a hybrid and is built primarily for road use, not long-distance racing. When we compare the 911 to the 919 Hybrid Evo, we see the difference in purpose. While the 911 excels at raw, visceral driving experiences and track days, the 919 Hybrid Evo is designed for long-duration racing, utilizing hybrid technology to achieve unparalleled efficiency and performance over an entire race. Next, the Porsche Taycan represents the future of Porsche's lineup, being the brand's first fully electric production car. With instant torque and unbelievable acceleration, the Taycan offers a truly modern driving experience with a focus on sustainability. The Taycan is a street-legal, everyday sports sedan, while the 919 Hybrid Evo is a race-bred monster designed to break records. Ultimately, the 919 Hybrid Evo stands apart as a technological tour de force. While the 918 Spider, 911, and Taycan represent Porsche's mastery of road cars in their respective categories, the 919 Hybrid Evo is in a league of its own. It was engineered with the sole purpose of dominating in endurance racing, with a focus on achieving impossible feats like outpacing modern Formula One cars. It blends hybrid technology, extreme aerodynamics, and race car engineering in ways that no other Porsche road car does. Unlike the 918, which balances performance with road usability, the 919 Hybrid Evo is entirely focused on pushing the limits of track performance, marking a different direction from Porsche's regular lineup. So, do you think this car really makes F1 look slow, or is it just hype? Let me know in the comments below, and if you agree, like and share this video. And if you think nothing's faster than Group B rally cars, check out our last video. Subscribe for more shocking comparisons.